Hi, this is the second recording of the Garden River Garden River Braves story, where Darren Zach had his beginnings and he started playing fastball. Darren, as you may be aware, basically cousins, uncles, friends, etc. Is who he played ball with. That's where he started. He started playing. I think he got into a game when he was about 12 or 13 years old. Somebody didn't show up, so they put him out in the field. And as they say, the rest is history. Now, one of the things is that I just want to do a quick sort of cover of some of the stuff, like this particular sweater I have on from the Sea Dogs, which of course is on, I believe, on the East Coast. Darren played ball for them in one of the senior loops. And of course, he has contacts and played ball for I don't know how many different teams. It's amazing. But I just wanted to show you, this is 1984 OASA Champions Intermediate C. Darren had just started playing in the Boston area at this point, and of course we weren't sure if he would be allowed to play with us. But Darren had his roots basically Garden Rivers at the time. Probably around 1,000 people lived there, and now it's up, I think, around 2,500 to 3,000. But fastball back in the day, in the 70s and 80s, we were the group to come out and watch. And then we started, we played in the Gooley North League, we played in the against interlocking with the City League, the Algoma Steel League, and eventually, I think it was called the Molson League, was the last rendition in Sault Ste. Marie. And, you know, we started out like the reserve, all us guys on the reserve got a chip on our shoulders, right? And part of it's because the way we get treated when we go to different places, it was, you were always playing against the other team, plus usually the umpires, and if we were away, of course, it was the fans, and there were some unpleasantries exchanged and whatnot. But overall, we just had a great time. Meeting new people, met some excellent people, Ray Lato Jr., Jake D. Rosario from the Sioux, and then as we branched out into different places, years later, my mind just went blank. But John, the fellow that plays with the Relics, he remembers playing us back in the day. I think it was, he remembers Darren playing back in the day because Darren struck out John Crack. I don't even know how to pronounce his last name. But anyway, he's a good buddy. And then we met Eddie Roy on the Relics, and it turned out Eddie and my brother Gary tried out for the Sudbury Wolves back in the day at the same time, and here and Eddie had been hanging around for at least a year and a half before we found out that he knew Gary, and he shared some neat stories about Gary and stuff. So we're reaching out for a lot of people, and the characters that we met, like it's just been incredible. Nick McCurry from Ashland, Ohio. Geez, what a character. What a guy that's so committed to ball. I got to hang out a few minutes with him in Wisconsin a few years back, where Darren was playing with the Relics in the Classics division. And Nick, I'm guessing, is in his 70s, and he's still playing ball, man. It's cool because I seen a lot of these guys, of course, back in their prime, and they still have the moves. They're just in slow motion, but they have the moves, and of course, it's still competitive as hell. We recently at Garden River had some of the old Braves come out to help along what hopefully will be the new Braves. And we've got these ball caps made up by, designed by, I guess, Steve Nolan, and it's got the GR and the feathers and the colors about the children's lives matter, and that stuff. And anyways, we had these young guys, 12, 13 years old, come out and play, and it was Field of Dreams time. Teddy Nolan, Steve Nolan, Curtis Kress, myself, Danny Tice, little Steve, all showed up, and some of the wives, and it was so neat because it just turned out sort of one of our last warm days, playing ball against these young guys, just in a fooling around. They basically let the guys back, but you could see the competitiveness come back. Teddy Nolan, I mean, he's got this intense stare when he's involved. Well, all the guys do, but you could see he sort of whiffed at a couple of the first balls thrown to him, and then you could see that lock, just locked in, and boom, line shot double. And of course, my camera I had screwed up and wasn't working at the time. But the same thing with Danny Tice, who was helping to coach these young guys. The intensity and whatnot, and it was magic. Our some of the partners, the girlfriends and wives who became wives, etc. They went back and they sat in some of their same seats, and it was like, wow, haven't seen this for 30 years. And it was so neat, and of course we've got grandchildren coming out. But anyways, I just want to show you some of the different paraphernalia, jackets, etc. that back in the day, still getting Garden River fastball champions. Ended up starting our own league in Garden River. We had five, at its max, we had 5 teams plus a team from town. And that's in a community, like I was saying, 1,500 to 2,000 people. And of course, other people from the Sioux and area came into play. But it was cool, because it's not until lately that I realized how much we fun things. This is the Thunder Shootout. I think this was in Ottawa. And of course, it's one of the places where Darren went and played. We had, here's that number 43 with the Gators. And of course, a lot of history made with the Toronto Gators. They set some records that I'm sure are going to stand the test of time. And of course, a shout out to Jack Fireman, who put that team together, sponsored it, and was an all around. It was neat to be with him in the back. In '93, when they won the first ISC, if you recall that, I think it was in the winner's bracket Saturday night, and I think it was healthcare. Anyways, one of the slappers came up, and as he's going into that slap motion, buck, he gets nailed in the cheek, right? And that was like, oh my God. And I mean, the guy dropped, right? Darren throwing pretty hard, of course. And the next guy coming up after that, I believe, was Mark Sorensen. And crushed one of those balls. And it's the hardest I've ever seen Darren hit. Anyways, Jack comes over to me and says, Corbs. He used to like call me Joey Corbs, right? And he says, Corbs, we got to get back to the room. We got to get Darren back in the zone, man. I said, okay, just come up to my room. So help collect my kids, jump in the car, go up there, and by the time I get back, Darren's back in that controlled zone and whatnot. And of course, the next day he went on and with the Gators, they made some fastball history, Canadian history, and again, which was pretty neat. Here's one of the versions of the Braves sweaters in time. This one was sponsored by Sioux Tree Experts, And it's sort of at the tail end of our Braves history. But here's another, when Darren was playing for the Bucks over in New Zealand. I guess this sweater was sponsored by Stafford Lodge Hotel, and I'm sure there was a lot of cold beer there, knowing the New Zealanders, and of course Darren. For a while, we went under the name of Reggie's Place, which is a local bar in downtown Sault Ste. Marie. Reggie Daigle sponsored the team, and was pretty cool because one of the things the Garden River Braves were awfully good at was drinking beer. We went to Marquette one time. They had a beer drinking contest at the local, or a beer buying contest or whatever, at the local beer store or confectionery store near the ball field. The boys won it on the first day, and it was a 2-day tournament and whatnot. This sweater, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but as well, it's worn out. This was given to me by Donnie Chichu, and this sweater came from the Moose Factory Warriors, who we played a couple of times, and they had some good players and whatnot. And we played a lot of native fastball, which back in the day, when people say Indian people are not competitive, they should come out and watch one of these ball tournaments, these Indian ball tournaments, or even better yet, go and watch goddamn native hockey tournament. Competitiveness, and then watching people like Darren Zach, Ted Nolan, Danny Tice. There's just countless guys that have played and were very competitive and friggin' hate losing, man. And anyways, this is getting a little long, but enjoy yourselves. Have a great day. The holidays are coming up. Stay safe. And I'm just ending isolation for COVID. Unfortunately, my dad got COVID. He's okay, but we had to do the 10 days in isolation, and I've taken my second test. Anyways, but for you Darren Zach trivia things, this is where he started, man. Playing with his dad, his uncles, his cousins, his best friend. Yeah. Anyways, stay tuned, and we're going to be bringing you more neat stuff. Thank you. Mig.